Good everyone. I hope you guys have an amazing day. So what I'll do today, I'll be reviewing the Salesforce Certified Agentforce Specialist certification. I've taken this certification last week, and I wanted to give my feedback with respect to the certification and should you go for it or should not be going for it. Um, Obviously, I've cleared the cert, so that's which is good. Now, a few things I wanted to highlight and some misconceptions that's out there, and the level of difficulty uh, when it comes to taking Agent Force Specialist. Right. First of all, right, if you remember, I did initially a course on Salesforce AI specialist. It used to be called different name. It never used to call Agentforce. Right now they changed to Agentforce. So a lot of content which I have included in my YouTube videos still remains the same, except a few variations, which I will cover eventually because I wanted to keep my channel up to date when it comes to certification. I do acknowledge that I've done a lot of certification, and I've in terms of teaching people, and I've delivered lots of them free. So it's kind of gets a bit difficult to maintain it, but I'm on top of it. Okay, so should you be going for Agent Force specialist certification? So the answer is yes and no, right? The it depends on what exactly you wanted to achieve, right? Because I'm a kind of believer. I don't do certification just for the sake of it, right? So I haven't done any certification in Salesforce for over a year and a half, to be precise. The only reason I decided to go for this because it was free, and I registered for it, and I've been delaying it for like 6 7 months because there was no use case for me to go for this certification, and the place where I work, right? The place obviously I work as an architect, so there is no use case for AI. We do use other AI like Azure AI and AI technology with respect to other tech stack. We pretty much use a lot of tech stack, right? It's a government agency. It's one of the biggest in New Zealand. So we use and I get an opportunity to talk to different architects who are part of different AI ecosystem, which is pretty cool. Um, so I personally didn't felt we got any use case to drive Agent Force initiative. I've been very upfront, right? And Salesforce has been saying you should go for data cloud, you should go for this. This is their marketing jargon, right? And it's really pissed me off many times, right? Because Salesforce have been selling this product as a combination of data cloud and Agent Force, and that's I understand they wanted to make sales, they wanted to drive the revenue, wanted to make a return of investment. Obviously, I presume they have invested a lot of money building data cloud. I get that, right? But not every business have a use case for data cloud. And a lot of things do get tied to data cloud when it comes to Agentforce. For instance, if you wanted to use the knowledge base article, right? So obviously, Salesforce recommend to store that in the data library, right? Which obviously gets stored in data cloud, and it creates an index for you behind the scenes and the retriever for you, and which you can leverage, right? And which is used in grounding, right? Grounding is what gives context to your large language model. So but you don't really need to use that if you're not really after knowledge article, right? There are lots of use cases using prompt, which you can use with our data cloud, right? Data cloud is useful when you wanted to do advanced agent force agent capability. But for a company who's trying out, wanted to have a few use cases, I personally don't think we need a data cloud. In saying, you might get a few questions on data cloud with respect to the certifications. In terms of difficulty, right? Let's look into some of the topics so that it gets very clear rather than just talking making stuff up. You might think, oh, this guy making stuff up. Not really. So prompt engineering, right? Pay special attention to prompt engineering. You should very well be aware how to create a prompt, how to use a prompt, different kinds of prompt, flex prompt, summary kind, all kinds of prompt you should be aware of before you go and attempt the certification, right? Because this is one of the core functionality of Agentforce. Um, And the agentforce concept, obviously, you need to understand, right? Custom, how to create a custom actions, how to create. You need to have a bit understanding of the standard actions, what kind of actions the agent support, apex, flows, right? Prompts. So you need to know that. So this is what I was talking about, the data cloud, right? So they make it sound right. You do need data cloud, which is to me the one which I'm talking about, right? Data library and retrievers, right? You need to know how it works, but do you really need a data cloud for Agentforce? Not really, right? Depends what exactly you wanted to achieve. Um, but you might say, look, hey, we implement a data cloud, we implement Agentforce, it goes hand in hand, perfectly fine, right? You might have a use case for it. What I was saying, we don't have a use case, right? It doesn't mean that every organization in the world have a use case. If you go and ask Salesforce, they say, yeah, sure, you have a use case for it because that's what they've been trained to tell you to do, right? And that's really annoys me a lot of times, right? Because they're people, I don't really want to mention any title or usually make it sound they're on your side, but in general, they're not, right? They're just to sell. It goes for every tech stack, Microsoft, AWS, Google, all do the same, right? Because they wanted to sell the product. And I don't find anything wrong with that, right? Because, they're doing their job and they're doing it really well, which is really good, right? Sometimes I get very impressed with the sales pitch. Um, so what I'm trying to say, right, you as an engineer, consultant, architect, or whatever your job title is, or if you should be very careful when you deal with a vendor. You need to understand your own business use case. If you're working for a consulting firm, then you need to make sure you understand the customer requirement before you go and recommend, because these things cost money, right? Data cloud is not cheap. Agentforce is not cheap, right? So before you go and say, look, you need an AI capability. Sweet. Everyone is on AI bandwagon these days. Perfectly fine. But do you really need a data cloud? That's the question you should be asking, right? Do you deal with large data volume? Do you want to bring the data from a different platform to a single unified view? If you have a requirement, sure, go for it. If you don't, then that's something you need to seriously look into the ecosystem to understand, do we really need it, right? And you might even have Microsoft, you might even have HubSpot, right? You just need to understand, right, how all it works together. You need to have the enterprise mindset. So, and it's very important when you go and take this cert, right? Because one of the advice, I'll give to people, because I've been teaching people certification for years now, like 5, 6 years now. I tell people, right, please do not go and take cert just as a tick box activity, right? That's not really a great way to do that. Certification is an opportunity for you to learn a technology or a cloud or a topic, and I would highly recommend you guys to please go and do extensive hands-on, right? Now you have a free developer version of work where you can get data cloud agent force, go and practice, create a scenario, create a fictitious company, do whatever, right? And go and read the trailhead documentation. It's very important. These are the things I've done, right? And once you are aware of it, you can smash the cert. The reason why I'm saying, right, you need to have a basic understanding of the service cloud, sales cloud, how the agent force can leverage it. And if you look at the passing score, it's unlike other certs, it's pretty high. It's 73%, right? So you need to go well prepared. Just because they're giving it for free doesn't mean, you know, just go and fail the exam. That's not a really good use of your time, right? Let's accept the fact. You got to respect your own time, right? Because you won't get your time back. Because even if somebody's paying for it, but you still don't want to get his time back, right? So, and another thing to know, right? If you ask my honest opinion, I got bored in the certification because I felt Agentforce exam certification is quite easy. It's quite easy, way too easier than any of the certs I've done. Till now, I used to think Omni Studio Consultant was the easiest one out of all the certs. Look, I don't have many certs. I mean, I acknowledge that. And all the certs I've taken, I've taught all of them, right? I have I've taught all the architects one, like identity, integration, DevOps, sharing. I've taught all of them, right? Even I've done a course on Service Cloud. Admin I haven't done, right? Because there are a lot of admin courses, so I didn't bother. Developer, Platform 1, Platform 2, Omni Studio. I've done pretty much, course on most of the stuff, which I got this certification on. Because, and I'm quite confident in all the certs I've done, right? Um, so that's my simple advice, right? Before you go and take the cert, right? Even though the cert is quite easy, please make sure you do hands-on. It's a great opportunity for you to learn uh, this technology. Because if you think you have a valid AI use case, right? Um, because I understand that you can create an agent using Azure, you can create an agent using AWS, even now uh, ServiceNow has that option, Google has an option, OpenAI has an option too, right? There are a lot of platforms out there or tech stack out there which will give you an opportunity to create an agent. But the question you should be asking, do you have a use case, right? And if you think you have a use case or if you're going to get involved in an agent force in the future, maybe in a week or not in a week, sorry, that's quite early. Let's say in a month or 6 months, then I would highly encourage you to go and take it. I mean, I will never recommend you to go and take a cert which you know going to have a use for. Like, for instance, CPQ, right? I've taught CPQ, but now they changed to Revenue Cloud, right? Most of the people, I haven't used CPQ, right? It's relevant for me. And I tell people, right, and I've been asked by a few people, hey, can I take Revenue Cloud or CPQ? I ask them, do you have a use case for it, right? Are you going to work on it? If not, just a waste of your time and money. Sometimes you gotta have an honest conversation with yourself. What is it that you're going to achieve by having this cert, right? Are you going to? No one will hire you just because of an agent force cert, right? And look, I don't have an agent force cert. When I got hired in one of the company, not one of the company, one of the government agencies, like 2 years ago, I got the certification now, but we still don't have any use case for it, right? And I'm not going to hire somebody with an agent force to create an agent. I could leverage someone from Microsoft tech stack, right? Someone with understanding of reinforcement model, because tool set is easy, right? Or someone a conventional Salesforce developer, right, who can create an Apex and flows and prompt. It's pretty easy. So that's the thing I wanted to tell you guys, that if you think the certification is going to add any value, go for it. In my honest opinion, um, the certs has not added any value to me, to be honest. I'll be very blunt. Yeah, just a tick box activity to show to the leadership, hey, I got this agent force specialist. Yeah. Besides that, like I said, I really got bored, doing this, right? And I just, and plus maybe because, it's cold in New Zealand, and I took this like 7 in the evening, right? And I was hungry, so I just wanted to get over with it. And it was not an enjoyable experience. I mean, this is the first time I'm talking about any cert I've taken, right? AWS, I've taken AWS cert. I quite enjoyed it. That's the first cert I took, right? AWS Associate Architecture one in 2018. I was pretty good cert. Then I got into, because I haven't taken, I've been in Salesforce ecosystem for quite a while, but I haven't taken a single cert till 2019. I didn't really felt the need for it, right? So now, yeah, I got decent amount of certification. Um, so I didn't create this video to demotivate you guys, and please go and take it. Like I said, if you got a use case, but in my honest opinion, it's one of the most boring cert I've taken. I don't even bother with AI associate. That's just garbage. It adds no freaking value whatsoever. It's just you're adding another tick box to say, hey, I got another certification. And one of the biggest challenge, I tell you, let me rant a little bit. I'm finding very difficult to find good people who actually understand the core concept. I don't honestly give a shit when I said to people, um, when it comes to, if you got 20 cert or 30 cert, what I wanted to do when I normally test someone, do you have design skills? Do you have architecture skills? Do you have a developer skills? Do you understand the pattern? Do you understand the platform quite well? Even if somebody don't have cert, right? I don't when I interview someone, I don't look at the certification at all in this CV. I look at the experience, the stuff they've done, and that's all I care, right? Um, so yeah, that's my honest opinion. And look, as you know me, I don't beat around the bush, right? And nor I like to sugarcoat stuff, right? I just wanted to give an honest opinion. And this certification is one of the most boring one I've taken in my entire life. And if Sales and I honestly wish Salesforce to increase their difficulty level a bit. I mean, it's not exciting. I mean, to be honest, like they ask very, very basic questions. Like, I won't tell you any question because obviously, so it's an NDA stuff, right? What I'm trying to say, it's very easy, the certification. And if you really know, if you've done hands-on, if you've read the trailhead, you'll smash it. It's very, very simple certification, and there's nothing AI about it. They talk about, large. I'm generally when agentforce, right? They talk about large language model. They talk about the trust layer, which is all good, right? I mean, it's all, yeah. That's pretty much what I wanted to say, right? And like I said, it's a free cert. Now, obviously, you can pay for it anymore using an old testing, the web assessor. You can't use that anymore because Salesforce have decided to move away to their new testing system, which is great. And so, yeah, I'm not sure if they're still going to give free the certification. If you have an opportunity, please go and take it. I would highly encourage it. After all, it's free, right? That's the reason why I took it. I mean, not that I knew it's going to add any value, but yeah, and I cleared it. I managed to score over 90. You can calculate the score, so it was pretty good. um, yeah, I mean, I don't score very high in most of cert. Like identity, I scored like 75, and it was very one of the most difficult certification I've ever taken. Salesforce Identity Architect one. And the most rewarding at the same time. I quite enjoyed doing this. It was challenging. It tested my skills, and I really like that. And that's the kind of certification I hope the Salesforce to bring out, right? The difficult one, up the damn difficulty level, right? So yeah, that's all I wanted to, cover in this episode. I hope you find it valuable. I'm sorry for my rant. I mean, I just wanted to give you an honest perspective, right? So thank you. Have a great Saturday. Adios.